Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Coffee with Partners of the Regions Week, episode number 7. I'm Manu from DG Regio, and today, together with Betty from the European Committee of the Regions, we are going to introduce you some of the partners, some of the guest speakers that are joining us today for this 18th edition to present their sessions. As you already know, this year will be, for the first time, a fully virtual event, so please do register. These are the last days to register for this 18th edition of the Regions Week, the biggest event in town on EU regional and urban policies. Today we will have an episode with a special focus on science and citizens. And let me introduce you, our speakers. Today we are joined by Norbert Steinhaus from the Bonn Science Shop, as a board member and senior project manager. And together with him, we have Elena Simperl from the Action Project. She's professor of computer science and joining us from London remotely, and she is working at the King's College. And then for a regional partnership, Regions for Open Science, we have the director, Vendula Nováčková, of the representation of the South Moravian region to the EU, together with her colleague, Romana Buzková, communication specialist. And let's discover about you and the sessions you are organizing with the questions of my colleague, Betty. Betty, over to you with the questions.
Thank you, Manu. I would like to thank our 4 interviewees for having their morning coffee with us, and especially since it's Monday, making our start of the week slightly more pleasant. Now, without further ado, let's start with my personally most favorite questions. Why does your initiative and regional partnership deserve a cup of coffee or tea or any other beverage that you prefer? Elena, Norbert, you're here as co-organizers working together on your EU Regions Week session, but you represent 2 different projects. So would you like to say a bit more about them to our viewers? Norbert?
Yes, first of all, cup of coffee. It's morning, it's Monday morning, the coffee is necessary. Definitely. So coffee in general is good for a relaxed exchange, especially in the morning. In the evening, I would prefer a beer or a wine. Based on our, let me say, working mode or philosophy at Bonn Science Shop, which is to link civil society needs to research resources and to listen to people's concern. Our idea in the project was to set the research and innovation agenda together with citizens. And we want to show that bottom-up engagement is not a utopian idea, but can be put into practice. And this was basically what was our driver to work across regions in Europe, which reached from Spain via France, Germany, Poland, Belarus, and Serbia. Yeah, so we deserve a coffee.
Thank you very much. And how about you, Elena?
Yes, good morning also from London. It's even earlier for us here than for the rest of Europe, hence this is my 3rd coffee. Let me tell you a little bit about Action. I am the project coordinator of Action, which means that I am the one leading on the main strategic and management decisions. It is the Horizon 2020 funded initiative. We have a number of different organizations in the consortium who for 3 years came together to deliver what we call an accelerator, including a training program, funding, resources and support for, over the 3 years, 15 European pilots, 6-month pilots from different parts of Europe that tackle different forms of pollution. What we are proposing is a novel, very interdisciplinary concept to help citizen science projects become more successful, inclusive, and sustainable. And to do that, we draw from the expertise of the consortium, including ideas and best practices from entrepreneurship, from social innovation, from open science, and from social computing. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. And the same question goes to you, Vendula and Romana. What is it that we should know about the Regions for Open Science?
So I will start. So we believe that science is a crucial tool for international cooperation. In our region, science, research, innovations, and smart specializations are the key topics, and we are sure that they deserve the attention. We also found our partners at the EWRC Partner Search, and we quickly realized that this topic has a great potential, not only for us, but also it's a really important topic for another organizations or for other potential partners, because we would like to find more partners. And I would like to also mention our partners, which are Velkopolska region from Poland, the Murcia region from Spain, Slavonia, Barania, and Sriem region from Croatia, Rimet Foundation from Italy, and Cyprus Institute. So we would like to thank all of them to participate with us on this crucial topic.
Thank you so much. Well, clearly all of you deserve a cup of coffee this morning. So although it's not the beverage that we should normally cheers with, I would say cheers to that. Now, coming back to you, Elena and Norbert, we already know that the Action Project and Bonn Science Shop are joining forces this year. But what was the driving force behind participating in EU Regions Week 2020? Elena, would you like to start?
Absolutely. So we had a number of reasons. This is a hugely influential event for any program or initiative that is working in areas like smart cities and participatory approaches. So personally, I have been at the event before, and I was impressed by the range of partners, organizations from and stakeholders that are present here. Specifically this year, I represent Action, and for us, it is one of the most critical events to be part of for three reasons. First of all, we have this accelerator where currently we have 12 pilots. By the end of the project, we're going to have a few more. So one of our main aims is to promote the work that they are doing. They're doing such amazing work in so many ways. So they work with communities that have so far been underrepresented in science, like disempowered youth or people with visual impairments. They help citizens collect data and advance knowledge on different forms of air pollution, water pollution, soil, light, noise pollution, both at national levels, but also at local and regional levels in 7 European countries. So contributing to this event also is a way for us to give them a platform to talk about their amazing work. But then for us as the Action team, this is a prime venue to present and collect feedback on our Citizen Science Accelerator concept, which we will feed in what we call the Action Toolkit. So this is going to be a collection of resources, case studies, and learnings, which we are going to launch for the open community later this year. And finally, we wanted to reach out to other programs and initiatives to exchange ideas and forge new collaborations. And this sort of informal settings that you guys have organized here is ideal for that. And we're looking forward to the event itself to continue doing that.
Thank you. How about you, Norbert?
Yes, so as coordinator of TERRIFICA, maybe a short line about the abbreviation. In TERRIFICA, we have CA for climate action, we have RRI for responsible research and innovation, and we have TE for territorial. So what's the best place for exchanging on territories than the European Week of the Regions and Cities? And that's why we are there. Last year, we've been there with another project on bioeconomy, raising awareness for the bioeconomy. And it was an extremely good experience to get into talks with people, to exchange experience, to see what is happening in other regions on that specific topic. And therefore, I really like that as exhibitor last year. Before I was just a visitor in the event, and it's an amazing experience. It's inspiring. The talks we have is really good. So it was no question to find a way to present our Horizon 2020 project TERRIFICA again on this stage on the European level. Unfortunately, I must say this event is online, completely online this year, and I hope it will lead to similar inspiring talks. And I'm really looking forward to it, to learn about other activities, but also making use of the opportunities to exchange with others. Thank you.
Yes, I believe the virtual character of the event this year will be a challenge for all of us. Nonetheless, definitely also will open more doors for making new connections and learning new things. Now, turning to you, Vendula and Romana, why did you decide to take part in the EU Regions Week this year?
Well, for us, the EWRC, it's a perfect opportunity for networking and for creating future partnerships. As Vendula said previously, we cooperate with different universities in the region. Masaryk University is our biggest partner in this. And open science and science communication is a big topic in the region right now. And together with Masaryk University, we were planning to organize an event in Brussels. And we thought that the EWRC would be a perfect opportunity to organize something like this. And we hope that the partnerships that we create will last longer, and then we will continue with this agenda in the future. So that was one of the main reasons to find partners who are interested in this topic and to maintain the partnerships for future events.
Great, thank you. Now, I would like to stay with Regions for Open Science a little longer, as I'd like you to pitch your EU Regions Week session in 30 seconds to our audiences. Why is it that they should sign up for your workshop among all the 500 sessions that we're organizing this year? Romana, Vendula, whomever wants to go.
I thought it was Wendy's turn, but I can answer the question if she wants. Wendy? Okay, I can answer that. Well, our session is going to be a workshop, 90-minute workshop. It's going to be held via Zoom in English. We will not have interpretation, but we think it's going to be fine because our speakers and everyone is fluent in English. And basically, the session will be focused on the communication and popularization of science. Our target audience is researchers, students, communication managers, and also policymakers. Among our speakers, we have a big variety of experts. We have researchers, we also have science communication managers, and we also have a representative of the European Commission. So we think this mix will be very interesting for our audience, and we hope that many people are interested in this topic and will register to our session.
Thank you so much. I believe your session, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your session is part of the thematic cluster cohesion and cooperation, which is one of the three main themes of this year's edition of EU Regions Week. Could you tell me why is this topic of importance for you?
As already mentioned, the cooperation in this field is very, very important, especially in the recent times of COVID-19, where we have to share all the scientific data in order to be successful with tackling the crisis and battle with the pandemic. The topic especially is important for our region, and we believe it's a crucial tool to boost internationalization. And it also helps to raise awareness about funding opportunities such as Horizon 2020 and in the future Horizon Europe. So we believe that this is something that is very important, the cooperation part especially. And with the research work that's done in the regions and the research institutions, we believe that we're able to attract scientists from abroad who would be willing to come to our region and to conduct research at, for example, the universities that we have in the region, etc. But the main reason why we are in the cohesion and cooperation cluster is actually the cooperation among different scientific institutions, among different researchers, and to use the open science and open data in a way that serves the whole society and the citizens.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to turn to our two other guests, and I got a feeling we're going to stay in the realm of science for a bit, right? Turning to you, Norbert and Elena, you're co-organizing 2 sessions this year. Would you like to pitch both of them to our viewers? Norbert, if you'd like to start.
Yes, we share a bit. So we have 2 sessions. One is a pitch, and the other one is a workshop. Elena will talk about the workshop. We applied for an exhibition stand for the European Week of the Regions and Cities, together with 1-hour pitch in the exhibition area. Unfortunately, we cannot present our tools there in person and to experiment with it, but at least the question and answer pitch has remained. So we will have the opportunity to present our tools we developed in our projects, which will be a crowd mapping tool on climate issues, on climate change experiences by citizens. Our crowd mapping tool developed by Adam Mickiewicz University in Poland. This will be presented by Dr. Barbara Grabkowski from the Coordination Center for Transformative Research. I have to read that, sorry, in Intensive Agriculture from our partner in Germany, University of Fechter. And Dr. Antonella Passani from T6 Ecosystems will present the Citizen Science Call, which our partner project has developed. So we're really happy to have this question and answer session of 1 hour, which of course will be before we present our regions the day after, which in a workshop, which Elena will now introduce.
Yes, thank you for that, Norbert. We will run a workshop on how to empower citizens. The workshop is going to be on October 8th in the morning. Empowering citizens is often seen as hugely critical for a whole range of initiatives. Myself, I have a computer science background. So when you deploy a large technology project, for instance, in a smart cities context, you do run public consultations and other forms of citizen engagement to make sure that the technology really benefits everyone. So it is hugely important, but there's also a number of challenges and myths even associated with it. So in this workshop, we want to learn from the experiences that we have made in the 2 programs, in TERRIFICA and in Action, and to present some of the activities and tools we are providing to support different forms of citizen engagement and empowerment in citizen science, in crowdsourced projects, which all share similar aims. That of giving citizens an active voice in responding to and addressing environmental issues. The other reason why I think this workshop is really important is because some of the speakers will be people who are running citizen-led initiatives in Portugal, in Norway, in Serbia, in France. So you will have the chance to learn firsthand from these people and their experiences on how the sort of tools and resources that Action and TERRIFICA provide work in the real world, but also how do you bootstrap these sort of initiatives and deliver them on the ground, both at regional and at national levels. So I'm really looking forward to this on October 8th.
Thank you so much. Although we went a bit over the 30 seconds right there, it's not a problem. I believe your session is very interesting for our audiences. But I see that the term of citizen science is quite the focus point of both of your sessions. Could you please explain the term to our viewers, because they might come from various backgrounds and not really know what to imagine?
Yeah, so no problem. So in the original concept, citizen science refers to research, to scientific research that is conducted by non-professional scientists. This could be as a whole, like it used to be in the 18th and 19th century. All science was conducted by volunteers, by amateurs. It was citizen science, perhaps less participatory. Perhaps you had one or two or small teams of hobby scientists doing research in a number of fields, whereas now with online citizen science, we have millions of people who perhaps come together to build a crowdsourced map. But it refers to that idea that you bring in non-professional scientists and different types of stakeholders to conduct in whole or in part scientific research. There's a few other terms that people might have heard about, which are basically citizen science as well, or very similar. So this is community science, crowd science, participatory science, civic science. In action, we have our own definition of the term because we're running an open call to fund citizen science pilots, and as such, we need to sort of explain what we're looking for and what is a citizen science pilot and what is perhaps out of the scope of the call. But we have a very broad understanding, and it includes projects where the research element has, for instance, a primarily educational purpose, or is used to inform a public consultation to inform policy, or more traditional science done with the help of citizens. I hope this makes sense.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the explanation. Now, staying with you again, both of your sessions are part of the Empowering Citizens thematic cluster, which is another one of the three key topics of EU Regions Week this year. Could you tell us, Norbert, Elena, why this topic? Why is it important for you?
Yeah, so engagement, empowering people is at the heart of our activities in science shops and Bonn Science Shop for more than 35 years now. And so giving citizens the voice, giving the possibility to act themselves is extremely important. So therefore, citizen science, in our understanding, has an extra element, which means agenda setting also for the research topic, and not just delivering data, which has its extreme value. But in our project, we definitely try to involve citizens in addressing the topics, which really burning topics. So, and addressing climate change in this context is, and I don't want to say it's obvious, but climate change is the biggest challenge of this decade. It was a big challenge before, and will be a big challenge later on. But we definitely have to address the climate issues. And in this case, in our understanding in TERRIFICA, we think that the climate change discussion has to leave the meta level, because initiatives have to be taken on the regional and on the local level. And this is what we try in TERRIFICA. After the mapping, we go into specific activities, developing climate change action plans together with the people who already contributed to the map. Yeah, thank you.
From an action point of view, we're also a citizen science project. As I briefly explained earlier, our aim is to provide this accelerator program framework that supports citizen science pilots at various parts of their journey. So one of the things we're most proud of is our bespoke support. So we acknowledge the diversity of needs that citizen science have and provide funding and support and resources for a whole range of pilots, from existing ones which may need advice on how to gain access to additional funding or become sustainable, to really early days ones which need to be aware of best practices and how to do citizen science in their domain, or need help with setting up the community and helping it grow. So the challenge for us really is to find a framework that acknowledges this whole spectrum of what citizen science is and what it could be, and how citizen science initiatives evolve in time, and provide support for all these different activities. And I think the question was also asking about how regions and cities are important in this context, and I think they're tremendously important to implement participatory science. All pilots we have in our portfolio are a mix of regional and broader initiatives, and if we were to think about best practices, I think one of them could be that we see in the portfolio that even when the remit of a pilot is perhaps very wide, like in the Street Spectra app that seeks help from citizens to understand which areas, which cities in particular, are more light polluted than others. Even in those contexts, which could be carried out, where citizen science activities could be carried out anywhere in theory, pilots do bootstrap their service in a local context with a local community, and this is hugely important for them, because it allows them to not just leverage those networks and communities, but also to get early days feedback on how to design their service and to test the best ways to seek contributions, motivate participants, and so on and so forth. So I think for any type of citizen science project, making the most out of local networks and regional communities is hugely beneficial.
Thank you so much, and especially thank you for bringing to our attention the importance of regions and communities in this field. Now, I believe we've heard all about your projects from the professional point of view, but what motivates you personally to work on these topics? Vendula, I know you've had some technical problems before now, but I believe now everything is fine. So if you'd like to start with this question.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Great. So my work is topic our and half year ago. We were starting cooperate with Maastricht University, one of the university in our region, and it's really open science and science communication is really a key topic in the region now. So we are trying to promote it through all the Europe and through all the other regions in the European Union. And also, I think the popularization of science is interesting.
Very sorry, this is one of the downfalls of online.
No problem. So the popularization of science is my favorite topic, because you can have fun, but also you can learn something, and I think that's a great opportunity to cooperate with other partners on this topic.
Thank you so much. How about you, Romana? If you'd like to continue.
Well, I totally agree with Vendula that it's something really, really interesting. And for me, especially because I'm a PhD student myself, I am a PhD student at Maastricht University, Faculty of Law, and I'm very happy that among the speakers, we also have speakers who are from the Faculty of Economics in Croatia. So it's not only about medicine-related research, but it's also about the other fields. And so we really try to cover as many areas as possible. And I'm really looking forward to the workshop to hear the different approaches and opinions, and to hear what kind of challenges our speakers were facing, and the best practice that they will be willing to share with us. So that's my main motivation, not only from the professional point of view, but also from the personal point of view.
Thank you. And Norbert?
Yes, of course. Climate change is nothing you can ignore, and this, of course, is an extreme driver for my personal activities. But an even bigger driver is the element of engagement and the element of participation, or the participation of citizens in research, addressing civil society's needs to researchers, to providing research resources, giving them access which they don't have per se. And this is the engagement aspect is my personal driver for since the beginning of my professional career. And I think with the Science Shop model, we have proved that there's a good tool and a good process, and there are good organizations working on this issue. And please let me thank all my colleagues in the TERRIFICA project from all the 6 pilot regions. They're doing an excellent work, especially under these difficult circumstances of COVID-19. And thank you from my side here.
Thank you. And last but definitely not least, Elena.
Yes, thank you. So I have a slightly different story because I'm a computer scientist. So my background is in artificial intelligence, in data science. The way I have started working with citizens is mostly because I have understood in an early collaboration with a platform called Zooniverse, which is one of the largest online citizen science platforms around at the moment. So in a project with them, I have realized how important this participatory element is to make artificial intelligence work. A lot of machine learning and all this sophisticated technology that is increasingly used everywhere relies on labeled data sets, relies on huge teams of people looking at images, looking at text, looking at audio files and telling us what they see in that media. So getting that participatory labeling element right is hugely important for IT and for artificial intelligence in particular. So from that, I had then become more and more convinced that empowering and engaging with citizens is the only way to deliver long-term advantages for technology, and ensuring that it is adopted and used for everyone's benefit.
Thank you so much. So before we wrap up, we always like to give our interviewees an option to ask the other organizer a different question, something they would like to know. Vendula, Romana, is there anything on behalf of Regions for Open Science that you'd like to ask?
Definitely. There are many questions, but we chose one that interests us most. We really like the TERRIFICA interactive map, but we would like to know, how did you promote this crowd mapping tool among citizens? How did you convince them to interact and to contribute to this?
Yes, thank you for your interest in this specific tool. First of all, the project is set up in different periods and different phases. And the first phase was building the knowledge base. So in this period, we are already connected to and linked with different stakeholder groups, involving them in the further development of the project. So we have local stakeholder teams, exchange between the different countries of local stakeholder teams, so that there's already a bigger recognition of the urgent need of involving citizens. And then, of course, all tools and processes you can imagine are implemented on different levels, of course. Social media, directly addressing schools because teachers are involved. Going out into cities with a promotion tour and having, like these little eyes selling things there, standing there. Going into local public events, which of course is quite difficult in the COVID situation. So there's a lot of media activity at the moment, addressing local TV stations. Unfortunately, COVID made it a bit difficult this summer, because this was our initial phase for the crowd mapping. But luckily, we were able to at least to collect data on from the different pilot regions. I'm quite happy with that. COVID is one challenge. Of course, we all see the developments in Belarus, and Belarus, Minsk is one of our partner cities in this project, which hopefully will turn out good for the people in Belarus, and which indirectly or directly will have effect on our activities as well, which for the moment are not influenced by this situation. Yeah, so as I said, all media tools, direct contact wherever it is possible, and already an early involvement of stakeholders before we definitely started with the crowd mapping activities. So I think this is what we can say at the moment. And of course, we will report on that, and we are always happy to hear if you have other ideas how to do that, so that we can work with your ideas, with your experience, and implement it in our activities. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
And let's send it around now. Elena, Norbert, do you have a question for Regions for Open Science?
I have a question, which is around specific initiatives. So me as an academic, and I'm always interested to know about specific projects and initiatives in the space. So maybe our colleagues could perhaps give us some examples of the sort of open science projects they run at the moment, and how perhaps we can find some common links and synergies to action in TERRIFICA.
Open science or for our but we have our international digital Orion and project supporting students, especially students, coming now, but also it's something like summer science, something like that. We have another, I think about 10 for students, in amount of 5,000 euros for the students of universities in our region in Brno. Yeah, because Brno or South Meridian region, we are the university region, so we are trying to support the students here, specifically the doctorate students, and yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much for that. If you could share some links as well in the chat or afterwards, it would be useful for us to have a look. Thank you.
Yeah, I will. Thank you for the question.
And I thank you all for starting the week with Coffee with Partners with us on Monday morning, and introducing such an interesting and really timely topics. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. And before we finish, I would like to pass the word back to Manu for some final remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you. And thank you all our guest speakers for joining us today. 1 week to go before the closing of the registration. I remind you that this year the week will be fully virtual and is starting on the 5th of October until the 22nd of October. And it will last for 3 consecutive weeks. Each week has a thematic cluster. theme. The first one is empowering citizens, cohesion and cooperation, and green Europe. So until then, we will see each other again very soon with another episode of Coffee with Partners this Wednesday. And keep safe and follow the hashtag EURegionsWeek. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
See you at the
Bye-bye.
end. Bye.
And good luck
Bye-bye.
with your sessions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.